Well, I'm Mick Burgess and I do interviews and reviews for Metal Express Radio, Fireworks Magazine, do the local press around here, record collecting, stuff like that. So hopefully we'll get some good coverage for your band, the tour, and what you're up to with the band and your solo work.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I mean, you've been over in the UK a few days now.
For a week now.
A week? Great, time flies.
Yeah.
How have the shows been going?
Yeah, it's been great, like... Life of Agony's never been really only in like particular markets like Scotland and London, of course. And people know us and they love us, but we're not really in high demand here in the UK. We never really were. Like if we do like Birmingham or normally on our own, we would do a 200-300 cap room.
Yeah. But
the package is it makes it a little bit more bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shows have been great and it's been wild, and I've been taking it I haven't really been taking it easy, but I just got surgery, so I've been kind of not thrashing my body as much, but it's been great, and it's been fun so far.
Yeah, because you're touring with your fellow New Yorkers, Biohazard. It's a pretty potent lineup, that. Who first came up with that idea?
Well, when Biohazard reunited just recently, of course, the band was always like, we got to do a tour with them. But we let a couple of years go by, because when they first came out and everybody wanted to be packaged up with Biohazard, so we figured let time go by and yada, yada, yada. And then conversations started happening between Billy and Joey and Evan and Joey and Evan and Alan, and then we were like, yeah, let's just get the agents together and see if they could be smart enough to make a good enough routing and pack, and then they did, and then here we are, really.
It's good to see you covering so much ground as well, because quite a lot of tours that come from America, they might just play London or London, Manchester, Glasgow, and that's it. So
Biohazard's Biohazard's definitely got the upper hand here in the UK.
Yeah. So is that how the tour is going to work? Do the Biohazard close, or do you take it in turns?
It's a co-headlining jam, but to us, Biohazard, it's like Uncle Biohazard, and if it wasn't for Biohazard, Life of Agony wouldn't even be a band. So in the motherland, I think we're equally worth the same amount of tickets and stuff, and we could have been up and back, but we're like, you know what? Take the reins, man. It's like, we love you guys, we respect you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, like, this is their time right now. So it's like we're not, Life of Agony was never really about ego, or we're not punk rock as far as genre, but as far as attitude we are, and it's like we're not here, we don't simmer in ego.
Yeah.
We want to have a great time, we want people to be safe, and it's just really about the music and the art of life and music, and just times are strange, man. So it's like
they are.
We either do this fucking now, or it's never gonna happen, really, So
you get finished nice and early as well, so you'll be able to get a nice cup
and you
of tea.
know what? We're like, this is working out really good, because I love going on at 8 o'clock at night, and then by 11 I'm in my fucking bed, and I'm just like...
It's funny, we had Mick Box from Uriah Heep on the Zoom call about 6 weeks ago, because they're just doing their farewell tour around the country now. Last year they did a 3-band bill with Judas Priest, Saxon, and Uriah Heep opened, so they did a 30-minute slot from 7:30. They were finished by 8 o'clock. You said, that was great.
Yeah.
He said, I had my slippers on, a cup of tea, and watching the telly at 8 o'clock.
How old are you?
58.
All right, I'm 51. I think I'm gonna be 51 or 52. And it's like, I don't even want to be in clubs. You know what I mean? No. I'm over it. I want to be home painting, listening to Charlie Parker, hanging out with my Chihuahua. Things for 11 years,
All right.
Tony.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. My dog just came down with pulmonary hypertension last year, and just fucking broke my heart, man. So she's been struggling all year, but she's strong.
They are strong.
And you know, the house is peaceful. I'm not married. I got no kids, so it's, you know, it's I got the 528 hertz going on to she's on her meds, and she gets everything organic. Everything's peaceful for her. So I think hopefully, I hope she's going to be with me for another 6-7 years, man.
I hope so. I mean, our last dog, we had a Jack Russell before. She was 17. I think in your life you've had 1 week where you haven't had a dog in the house.
Yeah.
So we got our current dog not long after our last year. We were devastated.
Oh my God, I can't even think about. I don't even know how I'm going to function without her.
I know.
I could cry right now, man.
Let's enjoy the thoughts. We've still got them.
No, crying's good, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I'm not ashamed. I love to cry. It gets all the toxins out, you know.
Yeah.
She's so sweet. She's so well mannered. She's such a sweetheart, man. I think the God sent her to me, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you could call ours well-mannered. She's sweet, but she's
got character.
Oh, no, listen. If someone's out in the hallway in my building, she's ready to fucking brawl. But then she comes to me on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we get that.
Comes in my neck, and I'm like, my little angel.
That's like me, actually, isn't it?
She gets you with bloody murder, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So about your set list, what have you got lined up for the show in terms of your set? You're covering the whole back catalogue?
Not really. We're doing most of the stuff we're doing is River Runs Red. We kind of wanted to like keep it more the older stuff because kind of makes more sense. You know, I don't think too many people here in England know what Broken Valley even is. You know what I mean? Like other than the real diehard fans, or I mean, we have 6 or 7 albums, and it almost seems like, you know, people want the older stuff. People are programmed, you know, and it's like, it's not that we're jukeboxes for people because we enjoy doing what we do, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's not a problem. I love singing the songs River Runs Red and Through and Through. We got, you know, we're doing some, we're doing Weeds, we're doing, we're doing ugly stuff, we're doing Soul Searching Sun, we're doing River Runs Red. Oh no, we're not doing anything from Sound of Scars, I just realized. And we're doing Cro-Mags.
All right, yeah.
Just to kind of bring in that Godfather, Lower East Side, real punk rock roots kind of, you know, thing.
I think we had Cro-Mags came not long after the COVID restrictions lifted, and it was lively.
Holly Flanagan, Cro-Mags?
Yeah. That was it's a good show.
I just met him for the first time since fucking 1985.
All right.
In a, where were we? Oh, in a Belgium festival. It was the Cro-Mags, Life of Agony, Madballs, a bunch of cool bands.
She's got a Madball.
Oh, cool, yeah. Yeah, I love those guys too.
Yeah.
I just painted Hoyer's dog for him. And I painted John Joseph's dog as well, the bear.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm hearing is our dogs next.
I think so, yeah. When you see it, you will have to.
Yeah, exactly. Send me a picture, man.
Because you know, a few months ago, you did the Crow in memory of Brandon Lee. So it's got an absolute killer chorus. I've got to say, it's a really good song. What inspired you to write that? Is it for a film soundtrack or?
It was. Well, our friend Corinne Hardy, who did The Nun, who did Gangs of London and shit like that. He's been a fan since fucking 88, 93, whatever. And we've been good buddies with him ever since. Like back then, before he was even in the whole Hollywood game. And he was doing the original Crow about 10 years ago, and asked Alan and I to, you know, the band to do a song for the soundtrack. So we did The Crow. And then, but then there was creative differences between whatever production company, between Corinne and, you know, I guess they wanted I guess the backstory really is like the guy's got dignity. So when Hollywood takes over scripts, they want you to lose your dignity, and he was basically fuck off.
Yeah.
Which I'm very proud of him. And so that was that. So the song has been about 10, 11 years old already. And then they just did the new Crow thing. So we were like, you know what, man, let's do a spite release. So we just kind of like, you know, we thought it was a good, you know, it was a great song, and we just figured like, here comes the new Crow, and like everyone was, you know, all the diehard Brandon Lee fans were kind of upset about that shit, and we were too a little bit, especially Alan, because Alan does graphic novels, adult coloring books, and all that shit. You should check it out if you don't. And we were like, fuck this, man, let's release the Crow and, you know, bring it back into the studio, and you know how Joey mix it and remix it and all that shit. So we just, that's why we did kind of like a little bit of a spite release, like just to kind of like, yeah, man, you know.
Are you doing any more writing then? Could there be another album in the works?
Yeah, you know, humanity's attention span is in the toilet bowl, so we're figuring maybe we're just going to release song by song, and then at the end make a nice packaged album or something, you know. So, you know, we're writing and fiddling, but we're busy touring, and there's a lot going on with their families and stuff, and you know, so we're just taking it easy, and you know, we have plenty of ideas. It's just a matter of time. Just hey, let's get into the studio and you know, solidify some things. But you know, we're busy touring, man, and trying, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. You know, it's so. I hate cigarettes. But yeah, so you know, we're thinking like doing the Liam Gallagher thing, you know, just releasing a song, then a couple of months later another song, and because people are fucking, you know, the internet destroyed everything. The internet destroyed the art of
the album,
the nostalgia of the album artwork, and the old school, like, you know, we all love collecting vinyl, and I'm still, and I'm still with, you know, with my vinyl player and you know, cassettes and CD player, like, you know.
I think when you're born with it, raised with it, and live with it, and grow up with it, you just, I think it's more difficult for you to understand that because you're more of the streaming generation. Geez, like, why do you need all this when you can have it in a little box?
See, you don't understand that. It's like, that's like you saying, why go to the museum when I can look at the artwork on my phone and be killed with radiation? You know what I mean? I mean, Steve Jobs didn't even give his children these devices because of the biological warfare that goes on. And it's like, and what you're missing is all the work and all the love that goes into what it takes to create such a thing around the music. And the kids, they don't understand even now adults. Lars Ulrich was right, man. You know, everyone gave Lars Ulrich fucking. Everyone tried to dim his light and throw him shade back in the MySpace days when he was ragging on Napster. But he was fucking right, man. Napster was the beginning of the end.
Yes. Yeah. No, he's absolutely.
So,
correct.
You know, fucking Lars Ulrich, man, was so ahead of his fucking time. That's why Metallica is where they are business-wise, because he owns Basquiat's, go figure. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's a great guy. He knows what the fuck he's doing. Yeah. He knows what he's talking about. And I just, it's all I kind of keep thinking about, like, you know. Every artist too, it has been reduced to likes and follows. All these fuck faces at record companies, these wannabe A&R people that come from Coca-Cola, they think they're just. It's like, here's an incredibly artistic band and psychologically healing band for the masses like Life of Agony, but we can't get this tour or this festival or this record deal because we're being reduced to likes and follows.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, man. You're from Seagram's, you're from Nestle.
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you dumb fucks.
Yeah.
So I'm very I'm not anti anything, I'm pro art, I'm pro peace, I'm not anti-war, I'm not anti-vax, I'm pro you can't inject health. I have very different views. I don't even vaccinate my dog because every condition she has, I blame it on the fucking vaccines because she had adverse effects as a puppy, and now it's trickling fucking down now. And I got my own belief system. If you know who I am online, I'm very like, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not in the middle. I don't even support this system that is not even designed to help humanity flourish. Because it's not. It's designed to keep humanity in a fucking container, and I don't like anything that's going on in this world, really, I can look around in the hologram and be like, wow, like, I'm so blessed, I'm fucking, it's the intention, it's how you live. You can allow these people to, you can be eaten away by the fear, or you can be eaten away by love. And it sounds cliche, but it's not. Because it's, the more you live in fear, the more they harvest that energy.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a culture that is just everyone's at each other's throats, because they don't understand, the collective, they don't understand collectively the energy they're putting out onto this glorious planet.
Yeah.
The collective, I believe, is like they're just lining up for stupidity, to just
money and power.
Man. What?
That's what they want, money and power.
Yeah, everyone is chasing status, everyone's chasing lip injections, everyone's chasing some kind of mental disorder, I was that as well, and growing up as well, because of the trauma that I came from.
Yeah.
It took me 40 years to figure out this traumatic energy, this toxicity that was in me that I needed to live through to get to the point that I'm at now. Yeah.
And you're in a happy place now.
Well, happiness is a fleeting emotion. Nothing's stagnant in life.
No.
So in this moment, I'm very happy. But I can get bad news tonight about the dog. Like, she was throwing up, and we had a really bad day 2 days ago, and I was just my vibe
just collapsed. Yeah.
So like I collapsed the other day. So. But yeah, generally speaking, my biology, my cellular system is very happy because I got fake implants. I'm back to my male divine self. I figured out psychologically what gave me gender dysphoria and body dysmorphism. And, no thanks to the system, but just doing my own deep dives and my own psychological research. See, I'm a prolific reader. I grew up with Jung, Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, Alan Watts, Terence McKenna, Graham Hancock. You know Graham Hancock? He's from here.
Oh, is he?
Bruce Lipton. Check him out. He's like, He's like that archaeologist that defies all the mainstream archaeologist bullshit. Like, they want us to think that life began with the Egyptians when it's like, yo, bitch, life's been around for millions of years, you know? And just look up all the megalithic structures like Göbekli Tepe, and he's just blowing all these mindless archaeologists. And he's just, you know, he's a shaman in his own right. He's a philosopher. Check him out, Graham Hancock. He even has 2 shows on Netflix, but he's, you know, he talks about consciousness and Mother Gaia, and he's just such an incredible soul, man.
I'll check him out.
I really wish I could meet him one day, man. Yeah. I write out to people, you know. For example, Mark Lanigan.
Yes.
I happened to, I did a release, A Fondness for Home. I don't know if you're familiar with my solo catalog, but I have.
In fact, I came to your music via your solo catalog. I sort of backtracked.
Okay.
And you.
So you're familiar with A Fondness for Hometown Scars?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Martijn Lenoble produced that. Martijn played with David Gahan, Sarah McLachlan. He played in the Scott Weiland Band. He played in Porno for Pyros. He did Good God's Urge. Played with Mark Lanigan. He did Cat People with Mark Lanigan. And so one day I'm just like, Mark, Bubblegum is one of my favorite albums. I don't know. I know you probably get all these mails, but I'm good friends with Martijn Lenoble. He's like, I know all about you. I heard the album. I love your voice. And I was like, oh my God. And then we exchanged about 10 DMs on Twitter, and then, you know, he died, he passed. Same thing with the new singer for Stone Temple Pilots. I wrote to him, Jeff Goot, and I was like, dude, I was so happy for him because, first of all, I grew up loving the Stone Temple Pilots. You know, the 3 of them, the DeLeo brothers and Eric Kretz, they're a musicians band. And I grew up playing classical. I love jazz. Miles Davis and Charlie Parker are my favorites. John Coltrane. I don't even listen to the music I do. No. You know what I mean? I'm like in a different fucking realm.
I was actually wondering where your musical background came from. So if you're 51, so a few years older than me, so mid-80s. Well, I mean, what was it you were listening to then? Was that in the sort of era of sort of the Motley Crues in the mid-90s?
No, none of that shit. I was Queen. John Lennon, the Beatles, David Bowie was big for me. Annie Lennox, Billie Holiday, again Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, PJ Harvey, a lot of English, the Oasis. I toured with Travis.
Yeah, right.
I toured with Coldplay on my solo stuff. You know.
And that's very different.
Yeah, Stone Temple Pilots, Led Zeppelin is probably my all-time favorite. Pink Floyd, Roger Waters. You know, Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. That kind of shit. Is what I grew up with. But if I did go, Johnny Lydon, Sex Pistols, of course, that one album. Paul McCartney's solo shit like Ram, his side projects like the Fireman. You ever hear that Fireman? Rushes? The album Rushes?
No. I only know a couple of his solo things really.
Check out Rushes by the Fireman. It's a project Paul McCartney did in the early 90s. It's just like weird trip hop kind of like just fucking amazing kind of shit.
Got lots of homework to do after this.
Brian Eno, Aphex Twin. Like, I'm very like eclectic.
I was going to say eclectic
with my taste. And but anyway, that was the story with Mark Lanigan because through Martijn, that's how nice rat.
Oh gosh.
So that I got them by. I live by the water in Brooklyn as well, so I get them. But
maybe one of yours. He's just who knows?
It's probably my bag.
I thought when you said nice rat at first, I thought you meant Stephen Pearcy's. You like rat?
And so if I went heavy, it was the Bad Brains and the Cro-Mags.
Yeah. So a good mix of stuff there, really.
Quicksand, the Gorilla Biscuits, shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm very particular.
Yeah.
I'm not like, you know, it takes a lot for me to, you know, I need like, it's usually a special out like island albums, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love Porno for Pyros, but Good God's Urge is my favorite. That's the only one that's coming with me. I love the Oasis, but the first two are coming with me. I love Coldplay, not now, only the first two albums.
I gave up after this.
I love a Rush of Blood to the Head is gorgeous.
Is that the one with the white cover?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
one was just, I mean, for the time, come on, it was very, very special. It was very special for that time. And plus, I was living in Amsterdam in that time, and I was an American refugee. 9/11 just kind of happened, I think. I went, you know, I just hid. I hid in Europe. And then I got caught. I got thrown out of Europe. I couldn't come back for 4 years. Yeah. They caught me
in Amsterdam.
They caught me in Dusseldorf.
All right.
Yeah.
So how did they find you?
They just didn't like the way I looked, and they looked on the computer and realized, like, yo, your visa's been up since 2 years ago. They sent me straight to Florida, the first flight back. And this funny story was that they were going to arrest me and everything. And sure enough, here comes this fucking big customs dude. He comes up to me, he goes, yo, Keith. I'm like, you know, I thought he knew me because of, they know my passport and all this. He was like, first of all, I want to tell you that I'm a huge fucking fan. And I was like, oh my God. He was like, you got a choice. You're going to be here and be held and you might be arrested, or I'm going to talk to these guys and we send you on the first flight out of here. I was like...
Did they not give you a chance to pack? About your stuff?
No, they just sent my shit and then they had to mail it back to me, and I had to work it out with my agency to go grab my bags from that flight and yada. It was a big fucking mess, but... I didn't get arrested. No. I don't want to. I'll get raped in jail, please.
Have you been back since?
What?
Have you been back to Germany since?
Yeah. This was fucking years ago.
Yeah. Just the last few questions. We talked about River Runs Red, and
we have time.
Yeah. Oh, good.
He limited us because it was at the club. So if you want, what time is it now, anyways? But
it's 5 to 5.
All right, no problem.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Good. That album's seen as by many as your crowning glory, and it's quite lyrically a dark record. And I think Alan wrote a lot of those lyrics for the album. How does it? I mean, was it a challenge?
I was too young to care back then, to be honest.
Was it a challenge to you to sing somebody else's words like that, or were you able to sort of live those words?
Yeah, all. He basically, we were all each other's mirrors. So I think I was the mirror that no one really wanted to look into. Still today. And, you know, Alan was like the brainchild. I think he was a little bit smarter than us. And maybe still now, except we learned so much from him. But like back then, he was definitely ahead of his time. And, there we have it, you know. And so it was like, you know, we lived through each other's traumas, and, you know, and then it was almost like Alan wrote because of the sound of my voice. So even today, it's, you know, we're all writing, and, you know, of course, I'm writing a lot of lyrics in the band as well, but it's like, you know, he's very smart, and if there's sometimes, you know, it all depends. There's also compromises too, where he's like, you know, I can't think of any melodies to go over these words, do your thing. And I would just do my fucking thing. You know, he'll come in, those guys will have the music. Alan would be lost, but the lyrics would be there. He'd be like, do your thing, fit them in somehow. You know, and that's happened plenty of times. And like, I Regret, I Surrender, all these other... where, you know,
So did you find a lot of your fans related to some of those issues that you were singing about? Did they write to you and sort of say, you know, it's grief, it's like reading a storyboard of my life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we've saved so many lives. And we save so many fans so much money from therapy, you know, so we're the real therapists, you know. All the therapists need fucking therapists, you know what I mean? Pretty much.
Did having that sort of success with that first album put a bit of pressure on you to do your second album, Ugly? Was that, I think, no, Grief, we've got to now top this. Did you feel that pressure?
Yeah, especially because we were very young. You know, I think I might have been 21, 22 back then. And, but, you know, we always just wrote from our heart. And if you didn't like it, then, you know, you didn't like it. There's just nothing you can really do about it. And if the label didn't want to release shit, then we'd cross that bridge, you know, but that never really happened, you know.
Because you left after the third album.
Did.
Why did you decide to sort of move on at that point? Is it just
drugs? I thought, you know, I had my gender dysphoria back then. I didn't want to tell the world. I was afraid to share my vulnerability, that kind of vulnerability with the world.
It's quite a tough
so I was,
musical area as well,
I was
isn't
struggling deeply with that. And I on top, with the drugs on top of that, and the behavior of the band just turned me off. And I also felt like I had a whole world inside of me, and the industry, the band, the audience caged me.
Yeah.
And I needed to do more. And so I did. Please, oh my God, that was such a nightmare because I had everyone trying to bribe me, you know, with everything. But I had too much dignity.
Yeah.
And nobody could convince me money-wise. And honestly, if I would have stayed in the band, I would have definitely killed myself. And I would have, I was planning to be part of the 27 crew.
So you were 27 at that point when you left? Yeah.
Roughly, I guess. Maybe a little younger, but I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to be part of the Morrison crew, the Janis Joplin crew, you know, the Cobain, the Elaine Staley. You know, I knew I was headed in that direction if I would have stayed because everything about the music industry, the band, it wasn't serving me.
Yeah. There's always an option though, isn't there? And you took that other option.
Yeah. So I just was like, I need to quit. I need to get back to my own heart, you know.
And that's when you started doing your solo albums.
Yeah.
So that allowed you to...
And that's when I wrote Died Laughing, basically.
Yeah. And it was very, very different to your previous day job, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's very much more laid back, melancholic, I'd say, and gave your voice a chance to sing in a way that you weren't able to sing in. I opened the door to write and record the music that I actually listened to. Yeah. But I think New York City, to me, is probably the best song you've ever written to me. I think that was the one that hooked me in. I was like, oh, who's this? I was like, oh, yeah. So
thank you.
So all of those other albums and songs, I'd say that would be my top.
Well, you've got good taste.
Because you did Died Laughing Pure, which is the acoustic sort of.
Yeah, that was a record label bullshit idea.
Was it?
Yeah, you know.
I quite like that. I quite like it because Died Laughing is quite stripped down, but that's.
Yeah, I mean, love went into it, but I wouldn't have done that. And then, however, it did give me the opportunity to cover Annie Lennox and stuff like that.
Why? Yeah, because I was going to say, why did you pick that song in particular?
Because I love her.
Yeah.
And Annie Lennox, and you know, part of my whole, you see, now that I've lived through what I lived through, I realized what was going on. My energy was very imbalanced between the male energy and the female energy. My mom died at 20. I was a dirty diaper playpen baby. I never had that love from my mother. I was tossed around. I was fucking abused. I was just... So I probably never got the real essential necessities I did as a young baby, which also gave me reactive attachment disorder, where I hated my father. I hated all the male figures. And if you look it up, it's almost like this obsession of wanting and loving all the femininity and this obsession with motherhood. So I created this. So the imbalance of the feminine was like eating away at me as a young man.
Yeah.
And it was killing me until in my 30s when I decided to just upheaval my life and do what I needed to do. In short, because it's a very layered thing, And now what had happened by living through what I needed to do, a balance was created. I'm still connected to the feminine, absolutely, but there's this balance that happened. And I've discovered what led to the gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
So I'm not, chasing the knife and cutting my face up to chase pretty and do that downstairs. Like, thank God I didn't do anything irreversible, because then I would have been like, I'm going to kill myself again. You know what I mean? Like what they're trying to do to all the children, which is, I don't even know the word. What's a stronger word than demonic? But no child should be going through this.
But you can speak about this with great authority.
Oh, absolutely. That's why they ban me. That's why they cover me, and they don't want my story being told, man. Because it's sacrilegious to the biology of the species, and it's part of the transhumanism agenda. It's part of the digital merging with the biological. And, they want us genderless, they want us sexless, they want us fucking living in pods. They want us at each other's throats. You can't, doctors took an oath to do no harm, but no one's thinking about the psychological harm that they're doing to all these children, because they're especially going after young women that think they want to be boys, giving them double mastectomies at 13, 12 years old, and then the girls, 20 years old, mommy, daddy, I don't want to be a girl anymore. I don't want to be a boy anymore. I know I'm a girl, and well, it's too late. They've already removed the ovum. They're doing all of these gender-affirming care when it should be gender-affirming nightmare operations. Because, for example, if you wanted to live as... Listen, you want to identify as you're an adult, do what the fuck you want. But you can't take away this child's birthright to make adult decisions for themselves later on in life. And no one's talking about that. And that infuriates me.
Yeah.
You cannot consent. Children cannot consent. It's become, like Paul Stanley said, it's become a very dangerous fad.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm all about blurring the fucking lines. You want to cross-dress, do what the fuck you want to do. You want to fucking do whatever you got to do, wear a strap on, do whatever the fuck you got to, go do it, man. But leave the children alone and don't violate. And I don't know if you see what I'm hell-bent. I'm more of a feminist than more women I know. I'm hell-bent on not violating the rights of women. Get the fucking men out of the fucking sports arena with the women. I'm a male mammal. Just because I had gender dysphoria, I didn't walk around saying I'm a biological woman. We need, it's like, what the fuck is going...
I think you've got a major ally here, by the way.
What?
You've got a major ally here.
Yeah. And you know what? I come from the very old world transsexual world. All the old world transsexuals were busy fighting for women's rights, not violating them like all the male chauvinists today, like the Dylan Mulvaney's that reduce a woman to a handbag and a stick of fucking lipstick. No. This is a sickness. This is an ugly fucking one-dimensional trend it's become.
Yeah.
And I took myself off of hormones 7 years ago. I was already planning on to take these out 3-4 years ago. I just don't rush my decisions. It took me 30-something years to do what I did. Okay? Just imagine if my parents would have took me to these sick fucks and they would have removed my and here I am at 51 changing back into my male divine natural self. And how many transsexuals I know since I've done my reversal again, and I've grown into a newer, healed version of my newest self is what happened. And I know so many transsexuals that have done bottom surgery, First of all, it's a wound. You gotta dilate the fucking thing 8 times a day. It stinks. It's constantly getting infected. And I'm talking about 7 to 10 transsexuals, trans women. They've ruined their lives. And they're not talking about this, just like they don't talk about all the vaccine-injured people and all this other stuff that's been going on with all this COVID fucking nightmare that they sprung upon us, okay? Because a lot of people died from that as well. Not the disease, but the vaccine, okay? And that's a fucking reality, too, that they've smothered, you know? And I won't have it, man. And I will fight for women and children. I don't care if a motherfucker comes to my door, you gotta put a bullet in my head to stop me. Literally.
Yeah.
And that's how I am about it. And, you know, I never had a mom. I never had, you know, all the women in my growing up were all beaten by men and that whole, so like, and now I see, you know, listen, man, it's the new witch burning. Okay, it's all this new chest feeder, bleeder, inseminated person. This is the war on language. This is what China does every 100 years. They burn all their books to do a reset. And what we're seeing is a reset right in front of our eyes. And now you have every other asshole. And the LGBTQ jerk-off community has become the most vile fucking, I don't even want to say the word because I get heat for it. But, you know, remember those soldiers in that war in the 40s? You know, this groupthink, this tribal mentality does not work for humanity. I'm against it all. I was never, even one of my best friends for 30-something years, the guy who signed Metallica to Electric, Michael Alago, gay guy, flying gay. He invented cruising in the city back in the day. And we used to go to Pride in the late 80s, early 90s, and we were like, this is fucking so stupid. Like, even back then, now they're including furries, and it's just like, come, what are you people doing? Now kids think they're cats and dogs and dragons and lizards, and my pronouns are Liz and Lizzie and this, and it's like, yo, this shit is out of fucking hand, and the system, the big government, big pharma, they've weaponized this stupidity. And the collective, once again, is so stupid that they don't even realize it. So that's my, I'm like, I'm so disgusted. I really am.
I mean, you mentioned your dad. Did you ever reconcile with your dad, or is that?
My dad died in 56, at 56. And, yeah, it was funny. It was a funny story. 2 weeks before he OD'd, he was like, if I ever die, I want you to cremate me. And then 2 weeks later, he died. But we never really got to... I always pushed him away.
Yeah.
I pushed him away.
Yeah.
They all abandoned me.
Yeah.
So
it's a complaint.
There's a lot of anger in me.
And I can see that, and nobody would hold that against you. It's quite understandable.
And my upbringing destroyed me. It destroyed my purity. But I took it back. So
absolutely.
Don't feel bad. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm a very...
It's hard. It's difficult.
I think it's great to have the self-awareness as well.
Yeah. Thank you. You're a smart young lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and that's what... And, thank God I've had yoga for 30 years. I've been meditating. I microdose often. I'm always, I'm like... I'm a shaman. I'm like a concrete shaman. Plant medicine is very important to me. And I also believe that Stratiforus cubensis, the magic mushroom, which is proven it cured PTSD, depression, bipolarism. That's why it's on Schedule 1. They don't want you to know that.
Yeah.
It cures so many mental disorders. And here I am, during COVID, microdosing often, painting. And here I am 2 years later after all this microdosing. I'm like, I want to live in my male self again. Like I want Keith back. I want that person that I never gave a chance to thrive.
Yeah.
Because as I grew up as a young man, that female energy was trying to push the male energy down. So I always hated my own male self. So that's this kind of the story in a nutshell. And what they're not talking about is how gender dysphoria is entangled with so many other mental disorders like reactive attachment disorder. Disorder, whatever you want to label it, it's just like, listen, every child goes through an identity crisis, right? Well, mine obliterated me. And I needed to work through my own, and thank God the Holy Spirit is within, and I'm protected by all my angels and guardian angels and my ancestors. And thank God, I'm being divinely guided and protected for me to live through this war zone of what it means to be human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I am, just like, I dodged a fucking bullet.
And there's still plenty of time ahead.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time ahead to be.
Yeah.
To be.
So this
positive.
So now, hi, I'm Keith 3.0. How you doing, darling? Hi. So yeah, Keith, Nina, back to Keith. The new version of me.
So your solo career, I think you've done about 10 solo albums now.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since your last.
Has it?
5 years?
Yeah.
Have you got any plans to do another one?
Absolutely. I'm working on a classical solo album. Right. Yeah. All kind of Satie. Eric Satie. Do you know Eric Satie?
I've heard of him. I'm not familiar with his stuff.
Satie. You know it. If I don't have my phone with me, otherwise I'd play it. But just look him up. You're definitely gonna know his music. And it's gonna be like that. And I also have, another. So the Moans. So you're familiar with the Moans, yeah. The Moans, I called it the Moans, is because I wrote that album because that's when I took myself off of hormones. Yeah. So no one really figured that one out because no one's really, I'm always leaving hidden clues about shit like that.
No, I didn't pick that one up.
Yeah, and that's why I called it the Moans. Like Radiohead. Oh, I forgot to mention Radiohead's one of my favorite as well. Like the Bends. Yeah. So I was like, the Moans, yeah. And I'm like, so I did that. But yes, I have vaults, hard drives of so much solo music. It's just the timing, A lot of my energy's been going into LOA, so it's all about timing.
Yeah. So what brought you back to the band? How come you sort of got back with them again? It'd be about 10 years ago now, wasn't it? Yeah. So what happened to bring you back as a band?
I think that's... I think it's all part of the divine plan. I think that's beyond a cerebral explanation. It's more like we have unfinished work to do. Yeah. So let's fucking do it. Yeah. And
you've been with Joey and Alan for such a long time, so
plus we're brothers and sisters, and we missed each other, man, and those guys always gave me breathing room to figure my tumultuous life out. Yeah. And I guess when there's no mines in the field to step on, they're like, yo,
Yes.
is it safe? Could we, we were getting crazy offers to do huge, Iron Maiden wanted us to do big stuff with festivals and and we were getting huge offers, and we were just like, yo, it's now or never. You want to do it? And we're like, you know what? Let's fucking do it, man.
So where did Veronica come into it then? She's been with you now for 5 or 6 years.
No,
so,
yeah.
I mean, she's a
7
phenomenal
years.
drummer.
Yeah.
Played with Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
She's done stuff with Run DMC.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to snag
Well,
her?
Joey brought her in, and Joey knew her. Me and Al didn't know her, and that also made sense. Then we became the most inclusive band.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The real meaning of inclusivity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So Sal at that point had been your drummer. So what happened to him? Did he not want to be part of it, or did you not get on with him? Or
Well, Sal never really loved us as people, and that's the God's honest truth. And in reality, Sal never really loved himself.
Yeah.
And Sal has a lot of demons. And that trickles down all the way from the beginning. The real story is basically when Bloody Kisses came out, well, before it was going to come out, they wanted to throw Sal out of the band for the same reasons. Because he's just a fucking tyrant. He doesn't know how to treat people. He was very difficult to be around. Everything was negative. Everything was it's just the guy, God bless his soul, he's got some dark entities holding on to him.
yeah.
And never really figured it out the way I have in some way, because I also had that dark energy. So the real story was Typo, because Sal recorded River Runs Red. He didn't write any of that. He only played the drums on it. All the drum parts were already made by Life of Agony and Josh. Josh foisted Sal onto us.
Oh, right.
While that was happening, Typo Negative, Peter Steele, and management convinced Sal that Typo's never gonna tour, ever. So you might as well quit and go join Life of Agony, because Life of Agony wants to tour 200 nights out of the year, which we really did in our first 5 years. That's why we built this root cult,
Yeah.
thing. So Sal joined the band, but very brokenhearted. So he always was with us, but his spirit was always with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he never really respected us. And it was a very up and down, we threw him out in the ugly days, then he came back, then he quit, and now just the last time, after A Place Where There's No More Pain, he didn't want to tour anymore. He didn't want to play drums. Sal wanted to be in the front. Sal's a talented guy. He wanted to play guitar, he wanted to sing, he wanted to do a Pale Horse.
Pale Horse named Death,
Right?
wasn't it? Yeah, yeah.
But he gave us hell, and then he started saying stuff like, well, just ridiculous stuff like, you guys tour and then you can send me a percentage of the money, and we were like, it got into this whole thing, and we were like, yo, you're either doing it with us or not. And we wanted to meet in Manhattan to do a little round table to talk this out, because we didn't want him to go. He wanted to go.
Yeah.
But for all these years, he's been painting me as a bad person, and because he loved me the most he hated Joey and Alan, pretty much,
Right.
with a passion. Wanted to be Joey, wanted to write songs like Alan, wanted to sing like me. Didn't want to be in the back anymore. That was the real thing, I think. And then he started throwing all these ridiculous things like, yeah, you go out and and we were like, fuck you, man. We need to talk about this, I don't want to meet you guys. Okay, goodbye. It was a mutual thing, break up, and then he persisted, and then now that he's probably sorry again, continuously talks, bad mouths me, and I'm a fag in a dress, and all this kind of stuff he says online, and no one gives a shit because everyone's tired of that. That guy's so his game and his antics are so fucking tired, and he's the type of guy that doesn't really want to work on himself. He's too busy blaming everyone else. He's too busy manipulating you and you. He's too busy gaslighting you and you instead of looking at himself and being like, wow, I think I got a fucking problem.
Yeah.
So that was the real story, and I think, and ever since then, and then look at his track record. After us, what did he join? He joined a couple of the Exodus guys. That failed. He did this. That failed. Like, no one wants to work with him. All of his Pale Horse guys left him. He even did that whole new Exodus thing with those, I don't know, did you ever hear about that?
No.
Anyway, the Exodus guy and this one and that one, they started a band, but literally less than a year later,
collapsed.
They've already collapsed.
Says a lot,
and
doesn't it?
there was a bullshit press thing, and we all knew, like, yeah, they probably couldn't fucking deal with that guy.
But you don't get any of that with Veronica.
Nah.
No.
No, she's a
Nice and
sweetheart.
easy.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I think you're really looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah,
'cause-
big fan of female drummers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
can play
great.
drums a little bit.
Yeah, dabble.
Yeah.
Yeah, she dabbles. So she's looking forward to that. So your UK tour ends on the 5th of March in Manchester. Do you head over to Europe after that?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a few
For
dates
the whole
over there.
month until
All right.
until April. I think March 29th we fly home or something.
Yeah. And so what does the future hold after that? What have you got coming up after that?
Some time off. I'm going to paint some commissions for some people, and I believe we're going to do some festivals, but then we're not going to work so much during the year because we're going to do an Ugly reunion tour in November.
Yeah. So lots on
Yeah.
music, art, and dogs.
Yeah,
Don't forget the dogs.
absolutely.
Got to spend some time with the
Yeah,
dogs.
my baby's sick, so I look forward to getting home and just spending months with her,
Yeah.
you know, and just being close to my baby,
Indeed.
you know.
Keith, thanks very much for your time. I've had
Thank
a great interview. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And all the best
Me
for
too.
the show.
Thank you,
tonight.
my friend.